Here's how to disassemble, clean, and reassemble the base for a Technics EPA-100 Tonearm. This is a height adjustable base with some moving parts inside, and the grease inside can freeze and make it unusable for the height adjusting feature. You don't want to force this to get it to move. If it won't move, you need to heat it up with a heat gun and get the grease loose. And don't ever apply too much force to this lever because it will snap off. You should be trying to turn the collar instead. To disassemble it, I used a screwdriver where I just put a little notch in the tip and I flattened the tip a bit. Then you release this lock nut first before you release the little screw inside it. Once it's loose, you can take a jeweler's screwdriver, spin it around, and remove it. It came out as a unit, but sometimes it'll come out separately. Now, you also want to be sure that these screws are out of the way so they don't scrape against this collar. This collar has a reverse thread. As you turn it, the inner height adjuster rises up, and you've got to kind of hold it still if need be, but it'll come up and come out. Now you can unscrew this with a reverse thread, take everything apart and clean it. I use a fine polish on the visible parts and rubbing alcohol and a microfiber cloth to get the threads. I also use Q-tips. You want to clean it really well so none of the old grease is left. Once it's clean, you want to grease it. I use the Stay Lube lithium grease, which is part number SL3311. I think it's been superseded by a later part number. It's again a lithium grease, but it's not the white stuff, which often dries out and flakes. This stuff stays good forever. So that's a good grease for it, I believe. But if you want to leave a comment with a better grease, feel free. Okay, now to put it back together, you've threaded this part back on, and you want to bring it all the way down till it stops, which is about the S of Technics. Now bring it back up and stop at the A of EPA, which is about 6 on this index here. Then you take the inner sleeve where the slot is, and you want the slot to line up with about 4.5 on the index. It's got a multi-start thread, and you got to catch the right thread in the right position. Once you got it lined up, rotate the collar and it engages. And then you bring this down like that. Now the slot is lined up with this screw. It's not this screw. And you want the slot to line up with this hole here. So you bring it back around like this. And there's the slot. Okay, now at this point, you just are going to put the little set screw back in and then the retaining nut. And it wants to cross thread, so I've had a little bit of dispute with this guy. But you bring it all the way in, and then you back it out about 1/8 of a turn, maybe half a turn. And now you test the operation. When it's all the way up, it should stop at the A of EPA. That's about 6. When it's all the way down, it's at about 0, almost exactly 0. So, and it operates smoothly because I cleaned and greased it earlier. Now you just put in your lock nut and you're done.